two, one. Alex, what's up, man? Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Doing great. How you doing, Sam?
Good, brother. Thank you for connecting with me. I know you're, crazy busy with everything you got going on. First off, you just got back from Mexico. How was the trip?
It was a good trip. It was with a nice bachelor party group, and we had ourselves a good time. We sent off the bachelor well.
Very nice. Were y'all in? Did you say Mexico City?
Yeah, Mexico City. The food was phenomenal. It actually was very surprising. The views were insane. I didn't really know what to expect. I was just hoping not to get kidnapped by the cartel. So.
Hey, man, you survived. You're back in the U.S., so that's a win in itself.
Exactly.
With growing up, man, I kind of want to get into your career and how you got into what you're doing now. Did you grow up in Maryland? Is that right?
Yeah, I was born in Maryland, but I grew up down here in South Florida. I moved down here in 2000, so I was about 12 years old. So I did my growing up down here.
Gotcha.
Definitely say that I have gator skin now, more of a Floridian for sure.
When y'all moved down, was it near where you are now? Because you're in Miami right now, correct?
I'm in Miami. Yeah, I lived in. I grew up in Broward County, like more Fort Lauderdale area, but I've been in Miami for about 6 years.
Nice. My fiance actually grew up in Boca, so just north of you. We love Miami, man. We're actually getting married down there in like 2 months. So
nice. Congrats.
Thank you, man. So I saw you're a self-taught artist, but was this something you were always like passionate about, or how did that come about, like through your youth?
I always I actually played golf my whole life.
Nice.
I was a golfer. I got a full ride to college. I played in college. I actually turned pro in 2012, played like 23 events on tour. But I got burnt out, I always in the back of my, I knew that I had the talent, that I always could look at something and kind of, sketch it or draw it to scale. I never really knew how to paint, but, I had that drawing foundation. And when I quit playing golf and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, I started dabbling, in art and drawing and stuff. And, it's a bit of a longer story than that, but now 10 years later, I'm a full-time artist. It's pretty wild.
Dude, I'm sure, like, starting off as an artist, I mean, dude, I want to backtrack though. So you were a hell of a golfer.
Yeah. I played my whole life. My golfing family, my younger sister just lost her card. She was on tour for 3 years on the LPGA.
Mm-hmm.
I was. I always thought I was going to be Tiger Woods. I never thought I'd be.
Dude, you got to do a Tiger Woods piece.
Yeah, well, I'm burnt out of the golf days. So maybe if Tiger commissions it himself, then I'll
there you go.
That.
Yeah. Where'd you go play in school?
I played for Western Kentucky. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to go D1. I went on a few official visits, and I ended up choosing Western Kentucky because they actually hosted a tournament in Hawaii. So, when I was 18 years old, just, the coach dropped that line and my eyes got real big. Oh, you'll go to Hawaii every year. So I loved that. So I got to go to Hawaii 4 years, in college. We hosted the tournament out there in Kauai. That was always cool. So
part of the sales pitch. I mean, dude, you tell an 18-year-old you're going to Hawaii every year, I'm in.
Yeah.
I can imagine, and I have no clue about if this was the case for you, but as an early artist, like, talk me through those days, like second thoughts, second having doubts. I mean, when did you kind of come into your own?
It's funny. It's taken a long time to get to where I'm at now. In those first few years, just, it's funny. I saw a meme the other day that was like, living in South Florida, you got to have 2 jobs and do a little fraud on the side to survive. And that's how it was those first few years. I was hustling. I mean, it's I've gone from the beginning of being happy to get a couple $100 for a painting, and to now selling paintings for 5 figures, and it's wild. It's been quite a long road.
When you're starting off, or how did you start off? Were you just like in your house, in your basement, making these pieces?
Yeah, man. Just up until I got this studio space here, I've been here for 3 years now. But ever since, prior to that, wherever I was living, I'd always get, an extra bedroom and convert that into my painting room, or, I was always working from home. And then as my business grew, I wanted to separate the workspace and, have that feeling of driving into the office. And, when we opened this, it was just a total game changer. As far as for my career too, it was nerve wracking at first, taking on an extra cost, but once I did it, it blew my business up as well. This facility we have here is crazy. It's some place that I can have clients come by, and
it's impressive.
To have that's cool. Yeah.
What's like the game plan for an early artist, or what did you do to like try and get your name out there to try to build, I guess, your reputation in the game?
And there's no it's just being relentless. It's such a hard niche industry. Artists, I get DMs and messages all the time asking me how I got here, and pointers, and you just have to be relentless. I did so many things early on in my career with no, not knowing what was going to be the outcome, just, hoping for the best. Back in 2016, I moved up to New York. I didn't know a soul. I Airbnb'd a place for about 6 weeks, and I just painted there for about 6 weeks. And in my head, I wanted to have an art show, but I didn't have an art show planned. My whole plan was I walked around Soho. I went in every single gallery until, I finally found one that, kind of liked my stuff. And, I said, hey, I moved up here to New York, and I've been painting a new collection of stuff. Will you have an art show? And I kind of just pressed and pressed until, they said yes.
Hell yeah.
And, it's just kind of, you got to work your way in. As like the bigger galleries around the country, they don't let, it's a small circle. They don't let any, it's very hard to get in. Once you're in, but it's just about getting out there, and having little pop-ups, and, doing everything you can to, get your name out there. A lot of times it means maybe, gifting stuff for free, or, doing charity events, or, I've done a lot of charity events in my early years. And for a few years, I'd love to start doing it again, but I used to give a percentage to. I used to make the buyer give a percentage to a charity of their choice. I used to just always implement that, and that was cool too. So just doing different things to raise awareness in your brand really is the key.
How long did you stay up in New York?
I was there for about 2 months. Only. Yeah,
I was actually in New York, I guess that same time frame, like end of 2015 to 2017, and then moved back down to Greenville. From New York, did you go back down to South Florida?
Pretty crazy. So I went back down. I had met this girl at the art show that I had in New York. She was a art curator from Canada, from Toronto. And we hit it off, just friends or whatever, and we stayed in touch. As soon as I moved back to Miami, I got a message from her that she was going to Costa Rica. She's a painter herself also. Nice. And she was going to do a little sabbatical, and she had found a a house on the beach for a month in Costa Rica. So, and she invited me. So, I mean, I barely knew this girl, and I spontaneously had just on a whim gone in, and I told her I was down, and I was home in Miami for 2 days, and I met her at the Miami airport and went over to Costa Rica, and I lived there for we ended up extending, and I was there for almost another 2 months in Costa Rica.
Dang.
Which was really cool. I painted over. I did the same exact. I ended up doing the same exact thing I did in New York, but with a whole different vibe. Because I was up in New York. I painted like a New York, vibe, and had the show. And then I went to Costa Rica, and I painted while I was there. And then I shipped everything home, and I had a show from all the stuff I did in Costa Rica when I got back home to South Florida. So yeah, I was just bouncing around, being spontaneous back then.
Where's the girl at now?
Who knows?
What part of Costa Rica were you in?
Samara. So it's on the Pacific side in the rainforest. There, I mean, every morning I was waking up to the howler monkeys at 5 a.m.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Costa Rica is a beautiful spot. I was in Santa Teresa earlier this year, and it's on the Pacific side too.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. So I want to talk through the House of Hits recording studio. Like, how did that come about? Who are your partners in it? Like, explain to the listeners, like, what exactly is it?
Yeah. So, I mean, Vinny DeLeon, he's the owner of House of Hits. He goes by Mr. Mix and Master. He's a producer. He's 100 times platinum. He has, several Grammys. My longtime friend. And we basically were coming up at the same time and came up with the idea of House of Hits, where music meets art, and just wanted to give everyone a new experience. Just not just a recording experience, but come in and have the gallery vibe. I'm always in my room working, so I mean, it's just like nothing you've ever seen before. And on top of it, all the recording rooms are state of the art. They're done by a guy named Chris Bentley, who's the best studio designer in the country. Anyone uses him. And the place is really special. So House of Hits has been awesome. My 3 years are up. I'm actually moving April 1st, and I'm going to start my own spot. So
very cool. Do you have a spot figured out?
I have a couple different places I'm looking at down here. The market's crazy right now, so I'm just I'm not rushing it, but I just want to make sure I find a spot that I like.
So at the current house, there are recording studios, and there's also, your studio. Is there any other art studios in there, or is it mainly you?
All the art here is me. I did the interior design and all the artwork here. It's just myself, and there's 4 recording rooms.
Nice. I saw, it had to have been somewhat of an advantage, because I've seen, the who's who coming through the House of Hits, or where you're at now. What's that like when celebrities come in, or, just people of that, community come in? How do you get to work with them? How is it like? Do you do any collaborations with them?
I mean, not like I work with them. Obviously I have nothing to do with the music side at all, but I mean, it is cool when I'm in here working, and you have someone like Kanye West poke his head in to see what's going on and say hello. It's something else, or I could be in my room, which is, and you have Future in the room next door making music. I mean, just that, some days I'll be in here and I'll open my door just to listen to what's going, like the music that's being recorded. It's so inspirational. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I heard I was in here painting in my room, and I heard, we have a piano out in the common area, and someone was just shredding the piano, like unbelievable. And I was just like, who is that? And I opened my door and went out, and it was freaking Scott Storch on the piano, just going crazy. And I just like, so it's just stuff like that happens all the time. I mean, I very rarely get starstruck. but I mean, we see everyone coming in here. I did kind of get a little starstruck when Kanye was in here 2 weeks ago. He had rented out the whole House of Hits because he was doing his Donda 2 release down here in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And he, I had just watched the Netflix documentary on him that just came out literally the night before. And he just so happened to be in here the next day. So that was pretty crazy. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just, it's definitely been an amazing stepping stone for me to join forces with Vinny DeLeon and do this. I've obviously met a lot of, for my career as well, has been amazing because, it's just more so than brand awareness. I mean, when you get these guys that coming in, like those guys, they don't even ask for price when they like an art piece, if they want it, they're having it. So it's the right crowd. And it's also, we really mesh well together too. My style art is a lot of the same type of cultural related stuff in the new hip hop, modern, vibe of people that are coming in through here. So,
dude, it seems like almost like the perfect collaboration for you as an artist with the people that would be coming around that house.
Yeah. It really has been awesome. I actually wouldn't be leaving if, I just am ready for a little big, the facility is amazing to showcase my artwork, and I am going to leave art here. As just my workspace, I'd like a little bigger of a workspace room. That's about it. And also, my wall borders one of the recording rooms, and depending on the engineer, the bass gets a little loud some days, even with my headphones on, and the whole room starts shaking sometimes. So that's the battle.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. If you got, trying to concentrate on what you're doing when you probably have a lot going on in the house with other things going on. Is there has there been part of that community that's been influenced in your inspiration in your art?
I don't know. I kind of always ask myself, would you want this on your wall, or what's going on currently? And, I always try to think about, what people would, buy, before I paint it. I mean, it definitely has influence, for sure. I like anytime I paint, Tupac or Biggie or any of those kind of guys, and I hang it up in here, those always snap sell. So, I mean, sure, I definitely lean towards doing, things like that just because I know the kind of crowd that's coming in through here.
How would you describe your style of art?
It's constantly evolving. I actually hate that question because, as an artist, like, I feel like it's kind of been what has made me a successful artist. Is not clinging to one style, because that's one thing I would say to emerging artists, is why they struggle, because some artists might stick to the one thing that they like to paint, but that's not paying the bills. I got criticized early on in my career a lot because I would do a wide range of things, because I'd like to think that I can paint anything from, a landscape to a portrait or whatever. So I was taking all those commissions, and galleries don't want to see that. They want to see a unified work, and I would always combat that with, I want my signature to be what unifies the work. So, I always thought it was cool to show range, but most artists do, have a collective of work. If you look at, most of the big artists, like, I don't know, Alec Monopoly, you instantly know, oh, that's a Monopoly, or, and so I don't know.
True, yeah.
A lot of vibrant, multi-layered backgrounds, out featuring, usually iconic portraits. Is kind of my favorite thing to do. I do a lot of game photos for athletes. That's my bread and butter, NBA, NFL guys. So yeah, but it's constantly evolving. You know, you look at my work from the last few years to,
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, it looks completely different.
With I mean, so I guess most of your stuff ends as a painting. Does it start with a drawing?
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to start. I start sketching it out for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Is there, I'm trying to like figure that out. What's the process of a painting, right? I'm thinking you sketch it out, then but a lot of yours looks like it's multi-layered, right? There's a lot of different layers going into it.
Very much so. Yeah. It's just, I guess, that's just my process, but I always start off with a background, and I'll do a background, and then I'll start, adding the foreground in, and, it definitely becomes multi-layered. The piece I'm looking at right in front of me right now has a dozen layers to it. The longer I want the viewer, the longer they stand in front and looking at the piece, they see more and more things,
Mm-hmm.
so I really love that. I love using negative space well, and strategically, I guess you could say. Yeah, man, I'm just constantly evolving and learning. That's the awesome thing about art. It's my 11th year now, full time, and I'm still learning new things every day.
Right. It's constantly evolving. Is that Bruce Lee behind you?
Yeah, that's an old Bruce Lee piece.
Nice. Dude. So, I mean, as I want to start getting some tattoos in Miami, do you have a tattoo shop you love in Miami? Is there someone you usually go to, or do you kind of spread that out?
Yeah. I go to Inked Miami a lot, to a tattoo artist named Anthony. I just finished my left sleeve, and I got it from this actually famous artist. She's a girl from Argentina. She doesn't even have citizenship in the US, but she was just here for about 6 weeks, tattooing at a shop in Miami. So I took advantage of that, and got tatted by her. But I usually go to Anthony at Inked Miami. I have a couple other artists too, but I mean, my whole body's covered. I've been getting tatted for years.
Sure. Is there a like for a tattoo for you, for an idea, do you go ahead and get it drawn by an artist and then go to a tattoo artist to do it, or do you let the tattoo artist
Yeah,
draw it?
yeah. People ask me all the time if I would draw them, a tattoo, or draw them a design, and I always recommend that they go to the tattoo artist themselves, because they're artists themselves. They're gonna redraw it no matter what. So I always recommend that you have the tattoo artist do your design, and you work with the artist themselves.
Very cool. I think that is, I think I agree with you on that. You got to use the tattoo artist that's going to be doing it. Like you said, they always change up what your design is anyways for their type of style. Is there I've noticed you've launched Yost department, right? You've had a little bit of a clothing or I don't know if you call
Yeah,
it a clothing
art.
brand, but it's merchandise.
Yeah. It's always been a passion of mine, fashion. And at first, I thought it would be a good marketing thing to have my own clothing line, and I was just originally going to send it out to a bunch of my pro athlete clients, and kind of just, I really didn't even care to make money on it. I thought, hey, maybe I'll break even or whatever. And surprisingly, I put out a really good product. I mean, I didn't cut any corners. I knew exactly what I wanted, from the fabric to the weight to the wash. And it's really, really nice stuff. I mean, it looks like it could be in Saks. Like, yeah, everything is really, really quality. And surprisingly enough, it's been turning a profit. I've pretty much sold out of my first drop. So, I mean, I'm going to continue to pursue it.
Awesome. What all was available in the first drop?
It was just sweatpants, a hoodie, some socks, and a hat. That's all
Dang.
dropped far. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at because you have a separate Instagram for it, so I was checking it out. It looks, I mean, I love the color scheme anyways, like neutrals,
Yeah,
blacks, whites.
ask wash. It's simple, you know.
Dude, so I noticed you got back in the gym yesterday from Mexico.
Yep.
Do you have a gym routine, or what's that look like for your life?
Yeah, that's a huge part of my life. I mean, I train really hard. You know, I guess I'm definitely an artist athlete. It's just it's my vice. You know, I'm 32, single with no kids, so I, I'm in there. I'm in there every day. I literally work out every day. I know people say you should have a rest day, but I do something every day. You know, so it's definitely a huge part of my routine in life. You know, before I do anything, I get up and go to the gym before I come to the studio, and it starts my day off. You know, when I don't, I feel off. You know, so
Sure. I mean, very similar. Is there what type of I mean, you switching it up? Do you do more weightlifting, high intensity work? What's your type of groove?
Well, I've been strength training lately. Just to put it in perspective, last year I was about 175, 15% body fat. And this year I'm like 187, 6% body fat. So I put on quite a bit of muscle and drop fat. So I've been just strength training lately because I'm pretty shredded up.
Yep. How much was that in the kitchen?
It was huge. That was when I started. I never really took dieting seriously because I've always been kind of a skinnier guy. And when I started taking diet seriously, that's when I started seeing the most results as far as in my abs and cutting weight and even my energy levels. You know, so I jumped on a meal plan program, and I was doing a little whole foods diet first off, and yeah, it was it's definitely, abs are definitely made in the kitchen.
For sure. I agree. Was it did you notice, were you doing like more fruits and lean protein? Were you, no like bread and carbs and that sort of thing?
I mean, I have a whole uh yeah, it's just, you can eat your carbs. There's bad carbs and good carbs. Once you get comfortable in the kitchen, eating healthy becomes pretty easy. You just have to kind of know what you're doing.
Very
Follow
true.
follow
People
program.
people like to use the excuse that eating healthy is difficult. And I try to tell them, man, it's a lot simpler to eat healthy.
Really not. It's really not. Once you you're aware of what's really good and what's bad, it's kind of becomes easy, in my opinion.
I agree. You just got to get into the routine or the habit of it. All right, dude, I got some questions from a few listeners, and it's two questions. It's a new segment, less listener questions. So first question, tattoo. Do you have a most meaningful tattoo and why?
Do I have a most meaningful tattoo? Um, yeah, probably. I have behind my ear those three lines. You
Mm-hmm.
see them? Me and my two sisters have them. It's parallel lines. We're spread out. I rarely see them, but so it's supposed to be often apart, but always side by side. It's probably my favorite tattoo.
Wait,
I
how long ago
have
did you get it?
Carter's date that he passed away on my neck as well. It's probably my other most meaningful tattoo.
I'm with you. I got a buddy of mine that passed, and probably my most meaningful tattoo is of him on my shoulder. Second question, last question. Biggest celebrity you've met or worked with? And you might have answered it early with Kanye, but if not Kanye, who else?
Well, I love Gucci. I did a painting for him
Nice.
ago. That was pretty cool. I did a piece for Chris Brown last year. That was pretty cool. Um, Probably Gucci. I've always been a huge Gucci fan. To meet Gucci was pretty awesome. I don't know. Meeting Kanye was cool. I mean, I just exchanged a few words with him. He didn't. I didn't he didn't get any art from me, but who knows, maybe he will in the future. But man, I've met a lot of people, especially here at the house. So yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm sure, like you said, you rarely get starstruck, but I mean somebody like Gucci or Kanye West, like I feel like all those feelings go out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you mentioned earlier you have Spotify there. Are they setting up for a show for you or for one of the musicians?
They're kind of just doing a show on the whole vibe here,
Nice.
of what we do here. Yeah, it's just it's pretty crazy. We have people come, like HBO was here a few weeks ago shooting an episode for some rap show they have coming out, and so it's bittersweet that I'm about to leave here because it's pretty cool vibes here a lot. But whatever I do next is going to be legit.
Definitely. And dude, so I saw you've been working on a piece about Virgil. Is that when did you start that? Is somebody already like going to buy it, or where's it at? Oh, look at it. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I just finished resining it. I honestly think that it will be sold by the end of the day.
Dude, I agree. Like I thought I thought it might already be gone.
But commission, I've been so busy for the last, gratefully for the last literally 4 or 5 months working on custom pieces. If you look at my Instagram, it doesn't even look like I've been painting because I haven't posted anything, but I've been painting my ass off. I just, so I need to start working in more originals. I need to always take time to pump out some new stuff. So yeah, I banged out this Virgil piece. Ever since I was a huge Virgil fan. I mean, he was such a savant. And since he passed, I've been dying to do a piece, and I finally got to it. So yeah, I love this one. It's really sick. I know it's gonna sell quick.
For sure. You probably like put any price tag on that thing too.
Yeah. So.
Well, dude, Alex, man, I just want to thank you for joining me. Where can people find your stuff? Like, what's your Instagram handle, your website, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so my IG is the Art of Yost. My website's theartofyost.com. And yeah, man, I'm here in Miami. I have paintings in a couple different galleries down here. Artwork at House of Hits, and yeah.
Hey, I did see you have paintings in 17 countries now or something like that.
Yeah. I actually need to update that. There's a couple more to that list, but yeah, man, I'm kind of proud of that. That's just goes to show you the power of social media platforms, because without Instagram and stuff like that, that wouldn't be the case.
Very true, dude. Social media, things like this podcast, dude, it allows you to reach people all over the world, man. But dude, thank you again for coming on. This has been awesome. I'm excited to see what you continue to put out and collaborate with. It's been awesome.